Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. I'm your host, Eric, joined, as always, by my co-host, T. T, how are you?
Doing okay.
Good. Good to see you survived your trip home in the rain, and as did I. Uh, God forbid, in Philadelphia, we have something other than rain in the forecast. It's either rain or blistering hot. That's just all there is to it anymore. But speaking of things, well, I don't know if you consider it like a downpour, but WWE going into Extreme Rules, I would say, and I feel like I've been saying this a lot recently, not a very, loaded card. You think about it, like this is your first pay-per-view since SummerSlam. Yeah, and you had the big Roman Reigns defense against John Cena, and now he's facing the Demon Finn Balor, which I'm excited about that matchup. Not excited about the fact that, look, as of right now, we don't have a WWE title match booked for Extreme Rules, unless they announce something, tomorrow night on SmackDown. I would assume we're not getting a WWE Championship match. And so maybe on Monday Night Raw, we'll have Big E and Bobby Lashley in a return match. I was thinking that would be the match at Extreme Rules. We also don't have an actual Extreme Rules match booked for Extreme Rules, which is kind of puzzling.
Guess we can just call this pay-per-view Rules.
That's right. There's no Extreme. This is just the Rules pay-per-view. It's Sans Extreme. Is there a match on this card? I would assume the most exciting match, the main event, is Roman Reigns, Finn Balor. Is there another match that you even know of on the card that kind of stands out to you?
Not particularly.
Okay, we're not off to a good start. Is there another, I'll let you start us off because we're going to try to touch on each match that I can think of that I think is booked for the show. Is there a match that you would want to start with?
Well, I guess they could start with the Liv Morgan Carmella match.
Yeah, love that. I think I actually might be more excited for that match than I am Roman Reigns and the Demon. Liv Morgan finally on a pay-per-view. She deserves it. Look, if the whole thing is generated on who gets over with the audience, and they're the ones that get the opportunity. Well, I fail to see anybody over the last few months that has gotten more over with the audience than Liv Morgan. She gets the biggest reaction, and look, she's a beautiful woman. There's no doubt about that. But that's not why she's getting the reaction she's getting. She's getting the reaction because she's working hard in the ring. She's putting on good matches. She's being entertaining. And she's somebody that the audience is believing in. And to me, I think Liv Morgan deserves to have a women's championship match. She deserves to be in the title picture. I would love to see her against either Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair, depending on how everything shakes up after the draft. I think putting her in a women's title match, either tomorrow night on SmackDown or next Friday, it would be rushed. And I don't want to see them do that. I want to see them build a match where she gets a championship opportunity at a pay-per-view. Liv Morgan deserves that opportunity.
Most definitely.
Actually, the way I'd like to see it happen, whatever side of the draft Liv Morgan falls on at the end of it, I'd like to see her be on that brand's Survivor Series women's elimination match. I'd like to see it end up with her having to face a 3-on-1 or something and battle back and win for her brand. And then get the women's championship match. That's how I would like to see that happen. And preferably on the same show as, well, I mean, I guess really it doesn't matter. I was going to say preferably on the same show as Becky Lynch because I would enjoy that. Like, I think that they could be just on fire on the mic, the two of them.
Well, they're gonna have to give her a lot of meaningful wins to get her up to that championship contender level, and that Survivor Series that would definitely help.
Right. Like, that would be a marquee event for her to be the catalyst on. Like, she does that. You can ride that momentum right into a championship match, which I'll always say the summer before the summer that Becky became the man, like, what was that, 2018? Yeah. In the summer of 2018, Becky Lynch went on a nice little winning streak, like in really ho-hum kind of throwaway matches, beating some of the other women in one-on-one matches, setting her up to have a big championship match at SummerSlam, and then of course having Charlotte, end up getting into that match and then winning the title. Like, I would say that the momentum she gained from those series of wins is what really propelled Becky Lynch to be the man. And I would love to see them do something like that with Liv Morgan. I think she beat Carmella twice in the lead up to Money in the Bank. She then beat Selena Vega in Selena Vega's big comeback. You then give her, say, a win on Sunday on pay-per-view against Carmella, and then take that into, like what I said, the Survivor Series, getting the marquee win, being the sole survivor on her side's Survivor Series team. Like, that puts her on that level. That right there, I think, puts her in the championship discussion. Because like you said, like, there's women right now that I would say, like when Asuka comes back, Asuka's got to be considered right up there in the women's championship picture. Rhea Ripley. I mean, look, Nikki ASH won the Money in the Bank ladder match and then captured the Raw Women's Championship. So she has to be considered in that conversation. Of course, Alexa Bliss facing Charlotte this Sunday. We'll get into those predictions in a moment. But, and to me, I'm going to predict that Liv Morgan gets the win over Carmella on Sunday.
Same.
Because you just have to give the audience that payoff. You kind of tease them with, hey, pump up Liv Morgan, get behind her, and they have. Now you got to give the fans that payoff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's stay on the women's side. Charlotte Flair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. I think we were all looking for this moment. Like, this is the push we wanted The Fiend to have. Of course, The Fiend did have his brief Universal title reign, but it was way too brief. Do you think this is that, like, is Alexa Bliss going to get that moment now? Is she going to beat Charlotte Flair on Sunday?
That would be monumental to have a victory over Charlotte.
Right. Actually, I think that's the one thing missing from Alexa Bliss's very impressive resume since coming to WWE.
Actually, I think Alexa will get the win, but for the wrong reason. It's so Charlotte could lose the title just so she could win it again.
Yeah, I think
titles.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I do think they're looking at it as they don't have long before Charlotte's probably going to be leaving, if not to go to AEW, but to go to get married and have kids. Like, I think that they're looking at that, because her and Andrade, I know they're engaged. I don't know when their wedding is planned for. But I think WWE is looking at it like the clock's ticking. If they're going to have, Ric Flair's the 16-time world champion, Charlotte Flair 16-time world champion. Like, they kind of got to get moving on that.
Yeah.
And I could easily see a case where, like, Alexa Bliss wins on Sunday and then Charlotte gets a rematch on Monday and wins it back.
It'll be like Charlotte and Sasha all over again.
Yeah,
That was some good hot potato.
it was hot potato, but like I wouldn't complain about any of the matches. All the matches were awesome. I do agree that having the constant title changes was annoying. Like if you go back and watch any of those pay-per-views from that like 4 or 5 month period, like it's just constant. Like you catch it in the middle of the pay-per-view. Oh, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair for the Women's World Championship, and it's like, oh well, geez, like how many times did they do this? Like kind of like Usos in the New Day. I felt like they were doing the same thing. Like, and I love the Usos and New Day rivalry. Like, I loved all their different matches. But, like, at a certain point, it was like, okay, you're just forcing this on me now. Let them be apart for a little bit, and then they can come back and fight again. Like, honestly, right now, like, if you told me, hey, as part of, like, draft night, which, you know, Raw and SmackDown, I would assume everybody's together because you're going to be drafting guys. Like as part of draft night next Friday night on SmackDown on October 1st, you would have the Usos versus the New Day. If you told me that match was going to happen on SmackDown, I'd be excited for it.
Yeah.
Like now, enough time has gone by to where I don't feel just Usos versus New Day burnout. And also, it's now fun to go back and watch. Like, I forget what year was that? Was that 2017? It was 17 or 18, wasn't it?
Which match?
Well, it started that summer, right? And then, like, they went through October. They had their Hell in a Cell match, and I thought that was the end of it, was their Hell in a Cell. But I wouldn't want to swear to it. I think it was all in 2017.
I just remember that Hell in a Cell match was pretty good, though.
Oh, that Hell in a Cell match was awesome. So yeah, I think you could be right. I think that Alexa Bliss wins the Raw Women's Championship just to lose it back to Charlotte Flair, if not the next night by Crown Jewel or something. If they're going to let the women fight in Saudi Arabia.
Hey, who knows at this point? You might do something stupid like put it on, what's that doll's name, Lily?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Lily, the Raw Women's Champion. If they do that, then like you might as well just take the belt and throw it in the trash. Like that's like right up there with David Arquette winning the World Championship. Like nobody would ever do that. Oh, crap. Or like I mean, gosh, if you had Lily win it, wouldn't it be the equivalent of somebody like freaking taking a dive for the world title, like on a finger poke or something? Oh wait, WCW did that too. Jeez, man, they had some bad championship. Like, I feel like if you've ever watched Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, you know where he does who books this shit. Like that's what I feel like when I look at some of those old WCW. Like who booked that shit? It's funny. I always look at like guys like Jim Ross claims like you know that he helped bring out the Stone Cold character, or like Bruce Pritchard claiming responsibility for bringing Taka Michinoku, which it's an odd thing to take credit for. But you know who's sitting around in WCW saying, "Oh yeah, it was my idea to book David Arquette as the world champion." Like I don't blame David Arquette, and he's done so much. Like if you watched any, like, do you watch Dark Side of Wrestling or Dark Side of Wrestling?
Watch it here and there.
Oh, great show. But like the episode they did about Nick Gage, and they talk about the time that he almost killed David Arquette. And it's David Arquette wanted to do a death match because Nick Gage is the king of the death match. And like David Arquette does wrestling, like he does like a lot of independent wrestling. He's tried really hard to like pay respect for an industry he feels like he disrespected when he was wrestling when he was in WCW. Now, I don't blame David Arquette. Like creative comes to him and says, "Hey, this is what we want you to do." Like they're giving you a paycheck. Go do the job that you're told to do. I blame WCW management and creative for saying, "Oh, I know. Let's put the world title on David Arquette." Like, okay, you get the buzz for like the 2 days of people being like, "Oh wow, WCW, David Arquette's the champion," and it's all over Entertainment Tonight, and and all the other the other media markets who wouldn't normally have their eyeballs on wrestling, and that's great exposure for the industry, but it's kind of a black eye on it. Like it makes you look like you're just a crap organization that you like, hey, we let celebrities walking off the street and become world champion. Like this is about the Ric Flair, like wrestled all over the world defending, and and then you're just gonna put it on David Arquette. Like Ric Flair and Sting had a classic at the first Clash of Champions. What was it? Like a 60-minute draw. The two of them, like that, just battled for this world title that David Arquette just shows up and wins. Like, and that's the part where like WCW didn't get it. But circling back around, I don't want to get off onto a long tangent of how WCW didn't understand pro wrestling and doing it justice. Of course, I think McMahon's doing a lot crap on the idea of pro. Hell, he won't even let the guys call themselves wrestlers. They're sports entertainers. Like, ultimately, this is still pro wrestling. And I'm glad AEW recognizes that. I just wish Vince McMahon would get back to that because that's what he started doing. He started in the pro wrestling business and then it evolved in this sports entertainment genre.
I mean, I get it has to be, borderline, I guess, I don't want to say it, but soap opera, but it's still wrestling,
All right. And look, I get you want to have that there's something for everybody thing. Like you have the childish stuff, like you have the 24/7 title, which I think is entertaining. And at first, like when I first heard of the title and what they were doing, like I hated it. I crapped all over it. But if ever there was a situation that defines it whole, the man makes the title doesn't make the man. R-Truth, Tozawa, and Drew Gulak have made the 24/7 title, and now with Reggie.
Now
with Reggie, the longest reigning 24/7 champion in history, I believe. Well, Gronk may still have him beat, but again, that's another example of Vince McMahon kind of poo-pooing on wrestling, letting Rob Gronkowski become a champion. Now, granted, he didn't let Rob Gronkowski become the world champion. He didn't let he didn't let Gronk have the title that was first won by Gorgeous George, longest reigning champion in history, Bruno Sammartino. He didn't the belt that that Hogan and Andre, like Bob Backlund, fought for. He didn't disgrace that title. This is just the 24/7 title. Now, not like WCW and the belt that Harley Race, Ric Flair, Sting, Vader, and David Arquette. One of these things is not like the other, folks. But anyway, circle back around. I'm sorry I do this all the time, guys, where it's like I'll start on one thought and before you know it, I'll be talking about WCW from the 90s. So, okay. What else do we have? The U.S. title, Damien Priest versus Sheamus. I mean, this has got to be a Priest retain, right?
It's a triple threat, isn't it?
Oh, that's right, with Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot they added that. Like, was there a point to that? Like,
I guess everybody got mad that Jeff Hardy was in the 24/7 picture last week, and that caused enough of a backlash. Or the week before, whatever.
yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, you're right. He was out there running around with the 24/7 crew, and which I thought that was amazing. I thought, man, like, could we have just because they've been having some actual 24/7 title defenses. A Reginald Jeff Hardy match, like, I think that would be interesting. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, man, have them jumping off of ladders and shit.
That'd be great. But yeah, I still think this is Damien Priest title retain.
Yeah, pretty much.
You could even have him pin Jeff Hardy so that, like, Sheamus still comes out strong, and you could even, like, the next night or maybe the following week have a Damien Priest Sheamus one-on-one match for the U.S. title.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if actually either one of those three, I wouldn't be mad.
No, I mean, I will say if Sheamus were to win it, it kind of feels like, well, what was the point of Damien winning it at SummerSlam? But I guess just so he can have a championship win on under his belt. Because I guess it would then help elevate Damien Priest. Being a former U.S. champion, you book him in a match, and all of a sudden that match gets some importance because he's a former champion. But I will say, I think this should be a Damien Priest title retain. I think Damien retains the U.S. title. That'll be my prediction. But like you said, I don't think I'd get mad at a title change here. But if you're putting it on Jeff Hardy, I don't quite see the point. Except for to say, I don't believe Jeff Hardy's has he ever won the U.S. title? Oh yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah. Ooh,
I mean,
would he become the second the two-time Grand Slam champion then if he won the U.S. title again? I kind of think he would.
Oh, I guess.
He was multi-time Intercontinental champion, of course, multi-time tag champion, multi-time WWE or World champion. So, yeah, this would be the double Grand Slam if he were to win the U.S. title again. All right, now I'm on board. Now I want Jeff Hardy to win.
And that could set up a feud with The Miz. So, hey, I'm a two-time Grand Slam champion.
I would enjoy that. I really would. I would, and you could let the U.S. title be a part of that. Miz versus Jeff Hardy for the U.S. title. Because you remember, the very first title The Miz ever won in singles competition was the United States Championship.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Miz wear some gold again. Especially since his WWE title reign this year was like
a waste. Yeah, I really when Miz got Money in the Bank. I thought for sure he was going to cash in at Elimination Chamber, and of course I figured it would just be right after the Chamber match. Like Drew would be worn out, and Miz would cash in, and I thought it was going to set up Miz versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and Drew winning the title back at Mania. Or you could even let, The Miz retain the way he did against John Cena once upon a time at a WrestleMania. And how cool would that have been, The Miz being able to come out and say, I've main evented WrestleMania twice. I beat John Cena. I beat Drew McIntyre. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But okay, official prediction. Who do you think is winning the U.S. title match?
Damien Priest.
Yeah, I still think this is Damien Priest retaining. Okay, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title.
I could see Becky doing some shenanigans if there's no Extreme Rules stipulation to it.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see this being like maybe Becky gets counted out or something or disqualified.
Yeah, something so she technically retains her title.
Right. Yeah, I could definitely see that. They're trying to make her very heelish.
Actually, yeah, if they do that, then they could be the two women to wrestle on Crown Jewel. I mean, why not?
Yeah, that'd be great. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, maybe a last woman standing match or something at Crown Jewel.
Hell yeah.
Right? I'd be in for that.
Yeah.
Maybe a steel cage or something, yeah. Okay, so
yeah, I guess technically Becky Lynch would be the winner. I mean, Bianca Belair would be the winner.
But yeah, we're both saying, yeah, if Bianca wins, there's still no title change. So so Becky still walks out champion.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to think what else we have. The SmackDown Tag Titles. The Usos are defending against the Street Profits.
Not really feeling the Street Profits right now.
Yeah, they're kind of coming across a little stale.
Like the Usos are kind of it right now.
Yeah. No, they are the hottest tag team. Well, them and RK Bro are the two hottest tag teams. Yeah, and they have to continue setting that up for RK Bro versus the Usos at Survivor Series. So yeah, Usos retain.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that brings us to the main event because I don't know of any other matches. I don't think I've missed any.
Nah, I think that's it.
All right. So Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor.
Well, I would love for the Demon to win, but they gotta keep Roman strong, so
yeah,
probably be some shenanigans again.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hopefully, it won't be any type of shenanigans like that Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins and the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. That was just the worst thing ever.
Yeah, where they had a disqualification inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. All he did was hit him with a toolbox. Come on.
Yeah, come on. What's the world coming to where you can hit a guy with a toolbox?
Not to mention he got right back up and I think choke slammed him or something.
Yeah, he was fine. Jeez.
Whatever. It's in the record books.
Yeah. You know what I want to do? I want to do a little signing. Something like I want to assign you a something to watch on the network, and you can assign me something if you want. And then we come back and talk about it next week.
Okay.
Okay, so you like that?
Yeah.
And it can only be either a pay-per-view or Raw. No, like, oh, you've got to watch the Monday Night Wars, like, 6-part documentary. It's like 6 hours long. Like, I'm not going to make you do that.
Good thing I watched that already.
So, like, I figured it's got to be a pay-per-view or, like, an interview thing.
Wait, an entire pay-per-view?
Well, you could just say, like, I guess you could just, if there's a particular match you want, you can pick a pay-per-view, but not like, okay, the one stipulation I'll say, not a WrestleMania. Not a, like, it has to be an under 4-hour pay-per-view if you're going to assign a pay-per-view. Does that seem fair?
Well, yeah, but the match I was thinking of was on free TV.
Okay. All right. So what would be your assignment for me?
Your reaction to the match between Big Show and Ric Flair during WWE's version of ECW.
That is good. That's a good assignment. See, this is why I knew you'd be good at this, because you picked an obscure one that was not on my radar. Okay, I like it. I like it.
A match.
Well, I'm not sure if I want to punish you for that, or if I want and give you something terrible to watch, or give you something good that you'll enjoy. You know what? I hinted to this earlier. I talked about this match as, one of the great matches in wrestling history. To me, it's like top 4 or 5 match all time. So I'm giving you a fun assignment on this one. Sting, Ric Flair, first Clash of Champions.
All right.
All right. We have our assignments. We will discuss them next week.
We're both watching a Ric Flair match.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll think of something. I'll definitely won't go with a Ric Flair match next week when we do it.
Which is definitely weird with all the trouble Flair's in after that Dark Side of the Ring episode.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you would watch that episode.
Yeah, after all the buzz I saw, Tommy Dreamer getting suspended for his words, and Ric Flair, his commercial.
Did you think what Tommy said was all that terrible?
I mean, I get it. You gotta remember the culture we're in now, though. But I get it.
I mean, I look at it and I say, all right, well, all he said was if he wanted her prosecuted, if she wanted him prosecuted for it, then she should have pursued that. Like, that's just if it wasn't about the money, you took a payout. But look, what about you? If what she says happened, Ric Flair deserved to be punished for it. Like, that wasn't right. And now Rick's denied it, which take that for what it's worth. Supposedly, Dustin Runnels said something and tried to stop Ric Flair, and so, hey Ryan, what's up, man? Good to hear from you, man. So, I'd want to hear what Dustin has to say about it, and I don't know if Dark Side of the Ring reached out to him to ask him about that. Of course, Dustin had his own misgivings during that plane ride from hell.
Yeah.
Including Terry Runnels to the point of, making her uncomfortable. Which, the whole plane, it just sounded like it was doomed from the start. Like, that also makes me kind of want to go back and watch that pay-per-view. To see if it was really that good that they deserved to celebrate that much on the plane ride home. And Kurt Hennig getting fired, and then they probably would have brought him back, within a year or so, but then he died, and so couldn't bring him back then.
Yeah, that'd be kind of difficult.
Yeah. They did do one angle where they had God take a loss, but that's a different story. Where they had God abandon Shawn Michaels. Maybe that should be on our homework list at some point.
Oh God!
Shawn Michaels and God versus the McMahons.
Well, I guess I never actually saw the full match. I only saw the quote-unquote highlights.
Yeah, I never saw it either. That's one of those pay-per-views. I was trying to go back and watch. Like, I would pick out a year and just say, okay, how many pay-per-views did I watch that year? Which ones did I miss? I want to watch those. I haven't quite gotten to 2006 yet, and just because, life gets in the way of those things. Those your wrestling viewing projects. I wish to pick out. Oh man, I have to remember what episode. I remember that was in. It was in what, late July of 2006.
What,
The
the
match
match?
the match you assigned me, the Big Show, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
It had to have been because 2006, like that summer, was the last summer of the real, well, somewhat realish version of ECW. Because by the next year, like, Vince McMahon had become ECW champion, and like once that happened, it was no longer legit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that now. You got me that excited for it. All right. So I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Not much else to discuss. The draft coming up. Next week we'll be on the air the night before the draft. And so we will do a mock draft, and we'll do it in the style that WWE has been doing it, which is Raw. Like each round, Raw gets 3 picks, SmackDown gets 2. I'll let you choose which show you want to be, and we can do our own mock draft.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good time.
It'll be like general manager mode from the old SmackDown games.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I did this with Joe, and it was one of our funner episodes. So I'm thinking this will be a great episode for me and you. So next week when we get on, we'll talk about our homework assignments. We'll quickly discuss what we saw from Extreme Rules, and then right into mock draft. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Ryan. Thanks for hopping in and saying something to me. I want to do something, and I'm going to talk out loud as I do it. It's always fun that way. I want to bring you the Philly Sports Alliance, the plethora of shows. Here we go. So Monday, we have the Football Smack Talk Show at 6 o'clock. We had some issues this past week. We're not able to get on, but this week, I don't know if we're going to have a special start time. There's Monday Night Football. The Eagles play the Cowboys on Monday night. If we went on at 6, I imagine we could just discuss the game till 7. That'd be a good time. And Monday night, 7:30, the Diamond Club podcast, my favorite baseball podcast out there. To me, it's the best. And then Tuesday nights, we have the Philly Broadcast with Ryan and Ryan at 6:30. They do a great job. They discuss all 4 Philly sports teams, and I'm sure they've had some great comments on the Ben Simmons debacle. The Wednesday nights, the Bald Eagle podcast, which this is a drive-by-drive breakdown of a play-by-play of each Eagles play in every game. It's fantastic. If you're a nerd like I am about football, then you'll enjoy that podcast. Then Mike Sports, me and Jay always break down each matchup of every week in the NFL season. And then on Thursday nights, they got Tendies on Patterson at 5:30. And then, of course, it's wrestling night here on the Philly Sports Alliance as T and I kill it doing the TLC podcast. And then Off the Top Ropes podcast comes up right after us at, I believe, 9 o'clock. Now, that is the rundown of shows when everything went away. There we go. That's better. And so, that's all we got for you tonight. T, anything to add before we get out of here?
Nope.
Love it. Keeping that streak alive. Everybody have a great night. We will see you next week. And have a great night. Happy wrestling, everybody.
All right.